All right, ladies and gentlemen, got a human trafficking global operation going on. This is a good thing. This needs to be a trend, and people need to make this a trend in all these European countries, especially. Smash the like button, subscribe, help me out a little bit here. 1,024 arrests in global operations against human trafficking. It's called Operation Global Chain. Took place on 5 continents and focused on trafficking for sexually exploitation, forced criminality, and forced begging. I'm not sure what the begging means, but Europol supported a global operation against trafficking in 59 countries, detection of 2,070 potential victims, and arrests of 1,024 suspects, 334 of which are suspected of human trafficking. Pardon me. As part of an ongoing investigations, an additional, excuse me, an additional 201 human trafficking suspects have also been detected. The crackdown, codenamed Operation Global Chain, focused on trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation, forced criminality, and forced begging with a special focus on underage victims. This year's edition is an annual effort, excuse me, This year's edition of the annual effort took place from 8th to the 12th of June 2026 with the coordination and support from Europol, Frontex, and Interpol. Now, that's only, what is that, 4 days? 4 days. I mean, this should be like a month long operation, I would assume. It aimed to detect and disrupt criminal activities associated with human trafficking, to identify involved individuals, to trigger investigations against organized crime groups, and to safeguard potential victims. The operation was conducted under EMPACT framework in Australia, serving as action leader, and Romania as co-leader. Total results of the operation: 1,024 arrests, 334 for human trafficking, and 690 for other crimes. 2,070 victims, and potential victims identifying 1,908 adults and 162 minors. 201 additional suspects identified, 465 new investigations open. That is a good sign. The 465 new investigations open. 80 cases of documented fraud detected. And that could be about anything. Investigative results indicated that the vast majority of victims are female and adult, with 64.2% trafficked for sexual exploitation, 20.9% forced criminally, and 11.3% forced labor, 1.5% forced begging. I don't really know what that means. 2.1% other forms. The percentage of underage victims trafficked for sexual exploitation is even higher, with 86.4%. That's about 6.2% of the forced labor, and 3% forced begging, 6%, and 3.8% of other forms. In many of the three cases, the safeguarding of victims can be challenged, as they are often exploited by family members. Mm-hmm. Potential victims mostly from Latin America. The operation engaged over 40,000 officers from 59 different countries and are involved in law enforcement, labor, and tax and custom authorities. Potential victims were reported from 45 different countries, with a majority from Colombia, Argentina, Venezuela, Nepal, Moldova. Many of the victims had been trafficked across borders and even continents, demonstrating the global nature of human schemes coming from all over the world, baby. I mean, it's wild. In total, the deployed officers checked 565,470 persons, 360,317 ID documents, 1,000 vehicles, 20,342 locations, 6,133 flights and vessels. Coordination of officers from Africa, Americas, Asia, and Europe. The further improved cross-border and cross-continent collaboration. The operation expanded globally through the establishment of 2 coordinated centers. One coordinated center was established in Skopje, North Macedonia, covering participating countries in Europe, Asia, Africa, while the second was established by Ameripol in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to coordinate activities in the Americas. Europol deployed experts to the fight against human trafficking to both coordinate centers, bridging operations activities between continents, and aligning simultaneous actions against organized crime network engaged in these activities. Each participating country carried out targeting operations in their jurisdictions and efficiently shared intelligence via the coordination centers set up in the Skopje and Rio de Janeiro area. This integrated multi-country and multi-agency approach was essential for successful and disruptive criminal networks to identify the victims. Highlights from across the globe: Belgium, 17 arrests, 22 minors, 21 Belgian, 1 Polish, covered links to ongoing investigations. Sexual device. Well, they'll be so-called Poland immigrants, or there'll be immigrants coming in, and they'll say they're Poland. 21 Belgian, 1 Polish. Costa Rica authorities, 12 Nicaraguan, 8 Costa Rican, exploited for forced begging, targeting areas of extreme vulnerability. Intervening officers collected information to assess potential human trafficking cases for further investigation. Forced begging. I don't know what they got to beg for their money after they've been sold. I mean, you know what? I guess that's what that is. France authorities uncovered an organization prostitution network running 3 massive parlors in Lille and Paris. A coordinated operation involving 30 officers led to the arrest of 2 Chinese suspects. The safeguarding of 5 victims, the seizure of euro 73,000 in cash, a vehicle, luxury items, and frozen bank accounts. France, Chinese. It looks like France has what kind of a problem going on over there? I don't remember. A Chinese problem. I don't know. Maybe. Icelandic authorities deployed surveillance teams at 2 suspect prostitution sites believed to be run by Chinese organized crime network. Over 50 clients were recorded on camera, 5 of which were arrested. The authorized seized 14,000 in cash, 13 mobile phones, 11 ID cards. 16 possible victims of sexual exploitations were identified and offered appropriate assistance, and 2 were arrested for illegal stay in Iceland. There's some of the money recovered. Ireland, during an investigation conducted under the Operation Globe Chain, law enforcement seized over 840,000 euros in cash at a house search in Limerick, Ireland. 1 individual suspected of human trafficking for sexual exploitation has been arrested. 1 individual in Ireland. Moldova authorities dismantled a sexual exploitation ring for former who recruited 3 underage victims, 16 and 17, from economically vulnerable backgrounds. Led by a former gendarme and his fiance. I don't know what that is. Moldova. The victims were coerced into prostitution through manipulation, financial control, and threats, advertised online, and subjected to daily exploitation with minimal earnings. The accused were arrested and are awaiting trial, while victims received psychological support. Nigeria authorities carried out 9 different operations, leading to the arrest of 5 individuals. Investigators uncovered elements of sexual exploitation, debt bondage, and managed to identify at least 33 potential victims of human trafficking. North Macedonia launched an investigation for trafficking of human beings for forced begging. Vulnerable female victim with a disability was allegedly exploited by a close family member who compelled her to beg while monitoring her activities and confiscating earnings. Supported by witness statements, video evidence, and operational findings, further investigations measure on ongoing to gather additional evidence. Whew. Wow. A Portugal investigation led to the arrest of 2 Brazilians and 1 Portugal's national, recruiting women to work in a massage parlor and forcing them into prostitution at a nightclub. 8 victims were safeguarded, and the nightclub euro 10,000 in cash and 3 vehicles were seized during the operation, involving 64 officers. There, wow. Ukraine authorities charged 2 individuals with labor exploitation offenses involving 13 disabled residents of a rehabilitation center in whatever. The suspect allegedly forced vulnerable residents into labor. In Kiev, authorities dismantled a crime group of 4 suspects involved in labor exploitation. The alleged crimes recruited, transported, and exploited victims through deception, coercion, and the abuse of their vulnerable status. 12 victims were rescued and assisted. Wow. I got more to read here. United States authorities, FBI, HSI, 16 individuals, 14 from Guatemala, 1 from the U.S., and 1 from the Philippines on charges of trafficking human beings for sexual exploitations. 22 victims of trafficking, 8 U.S. nationals 4 Filipinos, 5 Chinese, and 5 Guatemalans were identified and safeguarded, including 12 minors. Right here in the United States, I mean, we need a lot more of this going on, buddy. Look at this. 14 Guatemalans, and they have 12 minors, along with 8, and that's 22 victims. Yeah, unbelievable. We need bigger busts. This needs to be going on. And they look like, at the end, it talks about some things that are going on. But Thai authorities safeguarded the underage victim and arrested 2 suspects for trafficking a child for sexual exploitation. In the context of global chain authorities, Thailand also arrested 99 individuals suspected of other crimes, including illegal entry and border crossing, cyber fraud, drug offenses, and document fraud. Well, did you see that story I did about the monk? They got hit in Thailand by that truck. I mean, it was obviously on purpose, and they've got an issue over there. Looks like Thailand, though, they're going after, looks here, 99 for other crimes, including illegal entry and border crossing. I mean, we need a lot more of that happening here in the U.S., really. Global issue requiring global collaboration. Let's see, pre-operational digital approach to digital threats. The multi-partner effort. Global chain was carried under a framework of European multidisciplinary participating countries. Here they all are. 26 EU, 17 non-EU. There's a lot going on. Where's that one thing? 17 countries participated. The IMPACT, the European multidisciplinary platform against the criminal threat. IMPACT tackles the most important threats posed by organized and serious international crimes affected. I mean, it's good to see this done. This needs to be a trend. But here, oh yeah, back up here is where it was. This is the good thing. Is that 465 new investigations. Now, that should be about 4,065 new investigations, but that's a good start. And we need to push this. This needs to be a trend going on everywhere. And this needs to be looked to even in certain municipalities inside our own country, because, you know, there's bad stuff going on everywhere. I've had my first little small business, I had some dealings with city and city management and all that, and let me just tell you, it woke me up a lot. I'll put it to you that way. I'm not gonna go into the story, but they don't give a fuck about you, and they're so corrupt that, I mean, they will sell off for anything. It's that bad. And this was in 2000. Anyway, like, subscribe, help me out, man. Thank you.